finally getting to work on the van. We're going to install that headliner shelf at some point in the next few days, so we're preparing for that. Bailey clearly doesn't want to lay on her bed outside here. And Baxter's inside on the big dog bed because he's really a big dog. So what we're going to do, we decided we're not going to cover our board. This is our plywood we're using. It's good on both sides. We decided we're not going to cover it in fabric. We were thinking about doing that, but then we looked at fabrics and nothing really jumped out at us. And then to match a color, like a gray to the headliner gray, and then to the bracket gray, because it's a darker gray than the headliner, we thought, you know, let's just paint the brackets black, kind of a flat black, and then we'll paint the shelf, the underside of the shelf, a flat black, so it all matches. And then we'll just figure out a way to finish the top part of the shelf, you know, the shelf that we're going to be laying things on. We might just put a clear coat on it, I don't know. So today's step one, we're gonna prime and paint the brackets and get the shelf cut out. We have the pattern all ironed out. Thank you, Kim, that was amazing. When it came in the box, it was folded. It's almost 5 feet long and almost 2 feet wide, so it was folded so it would fit in this little skinny box. And so it had, when you opened it up, it had all kinds of waves and creases in it, and it would have made it really hard to trace out, you know, cleanly and nicely on the wood. So Kim ironed it out for us. Thank you, Kim. Anyway, yeah, here's the brackets. You know, it's a nice gray. It's a really nice color, gray. I like it. But to find something to match that as far as paint or fabric goes, and then there'd be a bunch of different colors of gray right up against the gray headliner. We thought, nah, let's make it black. It'll all kind of disappear. Real quick look here at the headliner. So this fits in underneath these supports. So we take the screws out from underneath here so we can drop this these two arms down. And then the bracket fits in like this into those spots. And then we just tighten the screws up again. So when it goes in like this, the shelf sits on top of the bracket like that. So I've marked this one P for passenger, so we know. I'll go ahead and sand the underside of this, give it a light scuff, and then we'll prime it and paint it black. Ooh, it's very bright out here. I need some sunglasses, and I also need my reading glasses to see the line. Isn't that nice? Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, she's just cutting out the template. We determined the utility knife would be the best option. A little more smooth cut versus the scissors.
And again, thank you, Kim, for ironing this.
Oh, it's a big difference.
We would have had, you know, the folds are still kind of lumpy, but everything else had waves to it, so the whole thing was not flat. This is a dream to work with. So pro tip, iron your template. Got a coat of primer on these brackets here. That's a nice gray. It's a self-etching primer. Yeah, we didn't have to sand it, but I figured a light sand wouldn't hurt. So it's been about 20 to 30 minutes. Let that really dry. Although it's a very dry day here, very hot. I don't think we needed to wait that long, but Sherry's ready to paint it black. Let's see what they look like. I gotta do like several light coats of this versus. Yeah, the actual paint that we're using, it's not spray paint. It's like a truck bed liner. We've used it on the back tailgate of the van, and it's beautiful. We really like it. So it has a little bit of a texture to it. It's not just smooth. It looks really good. So Sherry's gonna hit these with several coats, make them beautiful, and we'll use the same paint on the underside of that board once I get it cut at the cutting station over there. All right, leave you to it. All right, Sherry's continuing spray paint duties over there, and I'm over here continuing the template marking. I've got it all marked. I'm just gonna pull the tape here. And the only thing I really needed to trace was the curve, because we went ahead and made the side, and I didn't use the factory edge because this corner is a little barfed up. We don't want a barfed up corner on our thing, so I brought it in a little bit. So the only thing that I had to trace was the curve. I made our side marks, our straight edge marks, based off of the measurements on the template. So we're 52 1/8 wide, and then the center point is 20 1/4 up from the factory edge of the plywood here. Just trace the curve out, and now we can cut it. I'm going to use the skill saw to cut straight edges on either end, and then the jigsaw to cut the curve. Now that I've got the ends cut off, nice and straight, I'm going to use the jigsaw and cut out the curve right here, that curved line that I drew. And then the shelf will be done. We can kind of dry fit it in and see how it looks. Well, we got a test fit here, and it's beautiful. It fits perfectly right up there. We already put a little piece of Reflectix up there, but that's the shelf. We're gonna get the brackets done and mounted in there. We're gonna get the underside of that painted black and figure out what we want to do for our lip. Yeah, I don't know what we want to do for this edge. You know, we're gonna finish this edge off with something. Our thought was like a 1x3 kind of on the face. You know, held on the inside with like L brackets.
Yeah, we could put L brackets here, and
or some kind of
track so that we can.
Yeah. Oh, let me move this out of the way. We also thought maybe like a what do you call like a sheet metal angle iron deal? Flashing angle iron. I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure out the edge later. That's not a big deal. Right now we just want to get it mounted. And there's bolts that go through the bracket. It's not screwed into the wood, so it's easy enough to remove if we need to. But anyway, there's the shelf. Sweet. Lots of storage. I like it. Here's the brackets that are painted. They look good. Came out nice. It's time to install these into the van. So what that requires is removing the screws at the headliner here. Let's show you. There's little screws up in here on each side, and they are a 9/32 size. So I've got this extension here. I thought I had in fact, I know I have a screwdriver somewhere that this kind of fits into, but I can't find it. So I'm gonna throw this on the drill and back that out, and then I'll just kind of tighten it again by hand, or maybe I can just undo it by hand. Let's see. How tight are these things? No, I need to get them out with the drill. So let me do that, and I'll drop that down and put a bracket in. Let's get these screws out of here. Yep. There's one. This one here. Two. Don't want to lose those screws. Front. So the way these brackets fit in, if you notice, they are they're not flat. This kind of raises up a little bit. So they go in with the top side, or the arm of this up. They don't go in, you know, with it low. They go in with it raised, and that allows the shelf to sit on that raised up. And these are, you'll know, because this is a rectangle oblong this way, and this is a rectangle horizontal that way. So they fit into these brackets like that. These are shaped to take that shape. So that locks in there. Now I'm gonna go back down and put the screws back in and tighten that up. There. Put them into the hole. Feel like it's in the hole. I don't think that lined up. All right, where does that line up? Through there and find it right here. Right there. Just tighten that so it stays. And then I'll put the other one in. That should be lined up now. I think I see it. Get that snug. And I can tighten it very slowly. That's solid. Good. Alright, well there's the bracket. That's in there nice and solid. I will find the screwdriver extension for this and make sure that's hand tight. I don't want to go too tight with the drill, but right, it's solid for sure. All right, we'll do the next one and we'll move on. There we go. Brackets are both installed. It's nice and solid. Sherry's out here sanding the shelf. As soon as she's done with that, we'll test fit it in here again and mark the holes to screw through for the bolts. You can see there's 3 holes here. Screw through for the bolts. And there is a hole right here that I think if I remove one of these little pockets here, I can get into that and mark that as well, and we'll put a bolt in there so that the middle of the shelf is bolted down. So we'll work on that next. Wasn't sure how this little pocket here would come out, so I took it out off camera, but it was really, really easy. We've got this trim removal kit here, and what I did was I used these 2 tools. One is like a pry bar kind of thing, and the other is just a kind of a wedge. And this has some notches on the back end. So I pried this down. Let's see if I can do this here with one hand. I pried this down right here, and then I wedged this tool into here like that. And then I pry up on this. Oops, I'm not on camera. So I got that tool wedged in to hold the space, and then pry up here, and it just comes out. See it, the gap? So then I can take this tool out, and now just a little pull and squeeze, and it'll just slide right out. No issues at all. So I'm going to keep the right and the left separate, so I know which one goes in where in case it's, you know, space, you know, made perfectly for the left and right. And I can get here to this hole now. Right there, see my fingers? Right there, I can get to that hole and put a bolt up through there and hold the shelf down in the middle, just extra security so it doesn't bounce and flop around. How's it going there, Sherry?
Good.
Good, oh, that looks nice. Perfect. Give it a good sand. Yeah, this is the good side. So this is what we'll see from the van, right? This is the good side?
Yep.
Awesome, that looks great. Good job. I got the pockets out up above the door, up above the thing.
Excellent.
Of the headliner area, so.
I'm gonna hit this with a tack cloth.
Oh wow, are you done?
I think so.
Oh, cool, good. Good, beautiful.
Good enough.
Tack cloth it. I got the brackets installed too, so we can go fit it in, mark the holes, and start drilling.
Okay, super.
Nice. And once again, we're working here at our storage unit without power, but we can generate our own power because we have that inverter and solar panels and batteries. Generating our own power so we can work out here without the assistance of anybody else. Board is in place on top of the brackets. I'm going to go ahead and take my little baby Sharpie here and mark the holes because we got a little short area in here and a little tiny area in there too. So let's mark these like so. Get back here, find the hole right there. Go in here, find the hole in here. Give that a mark. And then these guys, same thing. Find the hole. Got it. Got it. And you got it. Okay. Now we'll take that off. We'll drill those holes out, give another little sand to make sure it's all smooth, and then we can get ready to prime and paint this. Here's our holes that are marked on the shelf. This is the good side. So I'll drill from the good side down through to the bad side that you won't see. That way we don't blow out on the good side. 7/32 drill bit is what I will be using. That is the size of the bolts that came with the kit. Let me grab my drill here and drill out these holes. Actually, let me just dry fit one of those bolts in here, make sure. The instructions had 2 different sizes. It said a 7/32 and a 9/32. Let me just make sure. Yep, that fits right on in there. Beautiful. All right, let's drill the rest of them and get to painting. Sherry's got a couple coats of black paint on the side of the shelf we're going to see. She primed it first, both sides, and then put a couple coats of paint on here with a brush, just regular paint that we've used for other things in the van. And then we're going to use that same spray paint that we used on the brackets. It's this bed liner stuff. We're going to give a couple coats of that on here to give it kind of a texture, so it maybe looks kind of like a metallic, you know, or something other than a wood shelf. And Baxter's chewing on something red out there. We probably ought to go get him. Hold on. Little man likes to chew twigs and sticks, and he had a piece of stick stuck in his teeth. Crazy dog. Crazy. Everybody's had dinner? Huh?
Does he need a floss?
Uh-huh. So everybody's had dinner except for us, and we're really not hungry. We had a late lunch. But anyway, yeah, we got the back of the van open. We're trying to cool it down. So this is going to have a couple coats of that finish on it, and it'll give it just a different look when we're all done. So hopefully we can get those 2 coats on tonight, and we'll be able to let it dry overnight and put it in the morning, and then we'll have a shelf. Here we are the next morning, and we're coming into the storage unit to grab the shelf, which really looks good. That looks great. It's hard to see in the dark here, but man, that looks really good. Just a light texture on it. It looks wonderful. Ready to install it. The shelf is in place. And I did want to mention, yesterday when we put this up here to test fit it, I used my little measuring tool here. You know, I can set the distance of it. And I made sure that this distance here was equal to this distance here. Yeah, between the edge of the shelf and the bracket. That way we know it's in there square, and we're not kind of twisted and cockeyed. So everything's in there square. Our holes should line up. Can you see air through there at all?
I can.
Sweet. All right, our holes should line up.
I can.
We're gonna get the bolts in there and screw them down.
The brackets match the board.
They do. They do. They kind of blend right in.
They should. It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same paint. So yeah, it's really nice. That looks really, really good. The only thing I'm bummed out about, we're both kind of bummed out about, is the heads of these are not dark, and we didn't paint them.
But we'll probably be taking it off again to do something with the top of it, and then put the...
We will, yeah. We're going to put a lip on this to keep things from just sliding out, and we're going to paint the top or do something with it. Right now it's just primer. So yeah, we can address the heads of these at a later date.
I don't know, might be cool look like that, but...
All right, we'll see. This is the middle one here at the center of the console. Needed a little 90-degree screwdriver to get up in there and just hold that while I use the socket to tighten that down. And then the rest of these, I could just use just an adjustable wrench to get on. I don't know if you can even see this. And hold that right there, and then just screw it with a screwdriver. Now that back one, I'm probably going to have to do the same thing with a socket. I can't get a socket in there though. I might be able to get my hand in there. Let's see. Get this onto the nut. Right there. Let's see if I can get in here and move some of this stuff out of the way. See if I can get in here and just... Well, this is the tough part. Just tight. There. Alright, let the wrench just wedge itself in there. This is the hardest part of the whole project. Alright.
we could probably have a better tool, ratcheting screwdriver.
That's good there. All right, I've got 2 more to do on this side, and then we'll be done. Beautiful. There we go. There's our shelf. So, these are long. You can see the tips of the bolts here, the threaded part, because most people use 3/4 inch for their shelf. So they're made to cover 3/4 inch and not have that extend out. So we decided 1/2 inch was plenty. We're not storing anything heavy up here. This is literally for like these Reflectix screens. We've got our screens in our windows, literally just for very lightweight things. So we don't need 3/4. But anyway, shelf's in place. One thing left to do is to put these guys back in. I've marked them again, so if one fits in a certain way, which the shape of it looks like it might. I'm hoping that all you gotta do is push this in and it'll just click. Ooh, maybe not. What's stopping it? What is stopping it? Okay, these little guys have to line up with the holes in the back, so we gotta make sure we can line those up. That's what's stopping it. So we gotta have to angle down. Angle it down as it goes in, because these things have to go into the little holes in the back there. So push it in and angle it down. Make it line up. And it goes right in. Beautiful.
In case we bang our head.
There's gonna be a lot of that for a while, I'm sure.